to this GCSE Economics video with me, Mr Goff, from mrgoff.com. This video will focus on positive and negative externalities. An externality is a consequence of an economic activity for someone outside of the actual economic transaction. Positive externalities occur when the consumption of a good or service has positive benefits for some external party. If we consider the purchase of cycling equipment, this can have positive benefits for society because it helps to keep people healthier and reduces stress on the health system. At the same time, it may also improve the environment because it might reduce the number of car trips that are made. Negative externalities occur when an economic activity has a negative impact on an external party to the transaction. For instance, when people purchase alcohol and cigarettes, they are likely to become more unhealthy and need more attention from the health services. This puts extra strain and cost on the health services, and as there is always a trade-off with how much we spend on health, it means the government has less to spend elsewhere. There are a number of policies that governments can use to try to correct the effects of externalities. These include taxes, subsidies, state provision, legislation or regulation, and information campaigns. Let's take a look at each of these in more detail. If taxes are raised, then products become more expensive and less people will want to buy them. This reduces their consumption and limits their damaging side effects. Excise duties are special taxes that are levied on goods such as alcohol, cigarettes and fuel to discourage excessive consumption. This is because alcohol and cigarettes affect people's health and put a strain on the health system, while fuel is burned and contributes to CO2 emissions and damages the environment. In 2016, the UK government introduced a sugar tax. The aim was to try and reduce the amount of sugar that young people consume, and also revenue from it was used to help tackle childhood obesity. By providing subsidies to consumers or producers, the government helps to reduce prices of goods with positive externalities and thereby increase demand for these types of goods and services. Government subsidies for childcare make it more affordable and allow more people to be able to work. This increases supply in the labour force and is good for economic growth in the country. Subsidies for renewable energy producers help them to compete and mean more of the UK's energy is supplied from renewable sources. This is beneficial to the environment. The idea behind state provision is that it ensures that all people are entitled to basic services such as healthcare and education. Free healthcare helps to keep the working population active, which means that we've got a better supply in the labour force, and this is generally good for the economy. Free education means a better educated workforce. This helps a country's level of productivity and helps lead to more economic growth. Legislation or regulations can be used to reduce the problems of negative externalities. Changes in legislation were needed to allow the government to introduce the sugar tax that they did to try and address childhood obesity. Cars must meet regulations such as emission standards. These standards help to reduce damage to the environment from cars driving around. Information campaigns hope to encourage the consumption of goods and services with positive externalities or discourage those with negative ones. The government's current Change for Life campaign is aimed at tackling obesity and encouraging families with children aged between 5 and 11 to eat well and move more. The government also runs campaigns on the dangers of things like alcohol, tobacco and gambling in order to try and reduce consumption in these areas. That brings us to the end of this look at positive and negative externalities. Join me again in the next video when I'll be evaluating how effective the government's response to externalities actually is. Use the resources at mrgoff.com to help you revise economics, and until next time, it's bye for now.